So I made a video recently talking about some concerns that I had around, relationships with inmates and things of that nature. And I've had people that say, Dr. Jones, all inmates aren't bad, and this and that and the other, and your statements are harmful towards all inmates. And I want to address that. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. She says to demonize all inmates are dangerous. There are so many socioeconomic and trauma factors in creating a situation where someone commits a crime and without compounding broken criminal justice system. Each situation is a case by case scenario. Any doctor coming on to social media and making overgeneralizations is an ethical issue. So I want to respond to this person and, anybody else who thinks the same thing. So I can't control the algorithm, which one of my post gets more traction, unfortunately. However, some of the ones that have gotten more traction is where I've talked about concerns where people are in relationships with inmates. If you have followed me for, I've been posting and writing content for over 10 years now between my podcasts and some of you are new to me here on TikTok. And I've talked extensively about correctional experience. And I've talked a lot about the bad experiences. I've talked a lot about the good experiences. Unfortunately, some people see one post and think that I am making a broad stroke statements. All inmates are not created the same. I've said that time and again. Um, some people can be rehabilitated. I have said that time and again, and I stand by that. So not all people who are in jail are bad or, all of this. And yes, I'm aware of socioeconomic and culture and trauma. I have spoken about that many, many times on this account and otherwise. So yes, I'm aware of that. I'm also aware of the manipulative and dangerous components as well. Any good clinician that works in corrections or anybody that works in corrections really and is truly about the work, you know that as well. And not just in corrections. I've worked with people, parole, pre-trial, all that kind of stuff. So I've worked with people who've been incarcerated in many different capacities. So I have worked with people that have genuinely been invested in rehabilitation and reintegrating into society and who have also been able to successfully do so. So I want to make sure that everyone is clear that I don't have a hatred for inmates or that I believe that I'm better than them or any of that kind of stuff in any capacity. I want to be very clear on that. I have worked with people in custody in spite of their crimes and been able to objectively do so while not holding their crimes against them, but able to be safe and secure. My concern on the post that went viral is you have people out here that are saying, you better get you one, or you kind of, they're sort of portraying something in someone that they don't know. I see a different side of people when they're in custody, and I have for many years. And when you have people that have been down for doing some serious crimes, it's not an okay thing to say to the general public, like, oh, this is this and that and the other, and someone that you don't know. This is a person that you don't know that has been a part of a system that you don't necessarily know about unless you've been in it for as long as I've worked in it. And so that is just a word of caution for anybody dealing with anything, uh, dealing with anybody who's been in custody. Do I think there's inmates that have been able to successfully reintegrate? Absolutely. Do I think it is the norm for people to come out of prison, especially after doing significant time, and reintegrate into society and be a normal human being where they go to work and do? No, I do not. I do not think the success stories are the most common, unfortunately. And I did a post maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago talking about why I don't think that a lot of people are actually rehabilitated because of the system and two, because some people, many people are not rehabilitatable. And I'm not saying that to be negative or crass. I've just seen it and I've worked with children on up, and you can actually see the trajectory of people beginning with children and knowing whether or not their outcome is going to be poor. And back in the day when I was doing my training, the prognosis is poor, outcome may be poor if we can't get certain behaviors under control. I've worked with poor, I've worked with wealthy, I've worked with people that are in between, and I've worked with people who've done a lot of bad things, and I've worked with people that have done bad things and have been remorseful, and people who've done bad things and haven't been remorseful. So my job, I'm talking about all different cultures. Unfortunately, in the course of a 10-minute video, sometimes it may come across as general, and because you can't get all the things into one video. I have people who complain, you take too long, you talk too much, I can't keep up, you're telling me too much stuff, that kind of stuff. And then you have people, you're making these too many, I haven't perfected the art of, and I don't know that I haven't perfected the art of being able to encompass all scenarios in each 10-minute clip on TikTok. I don't know that I have that capability. So I've done different videos, and so it's up to the consumer to decide if they want to look at other videos to see, is Dr. Jones a demon? Is Dr. Jones demonizing other people? Or am I just taking this one video and making a general assumption about her that's not accurate? And so I'll put that there. The second thing is, social media is a bingo. It's a wild card in an Uno game. So I never know, despite what I say, what people's responses are going to be. In particular, TikTok. There's just a different vibe, a different group. TikTok is going to be different from YouTube, Instagram. All platforms are going to be different. So I never know what I'm going to be getting back from people. And so there's a I don't know, I'm not perfect, so there's a certain amount of like people are saying this because you said that, and so I don't really know what to say about that. I could turn all the comments off and just go from there, and that's certainly been something that I've done and considered, but I can't. At the same thing, people are going to say things. There's going to be thought pieces, think pieces. Those don't necessarily reflect me. It doesn't reflect my intent and doesn't reflect necessarily what I say on a particular video. So, and maybe this is a learning opportunity for me. Certainly I'm open to that. But I don't know what else to say. Some of the things I talk about are controversial, so you are going to bring out more opinions or more strong thoughts and things like that. But yeah, so I'm not sure, but I hope that this helps to explain things. I don't have any personal grievance with the person who wrote that or anybody who writes that, but I do have other thought pieces that reflect that I'm actually very passionate about doing the work in corrections. That's why I went and did it, because I actually wanted to create change. But it's a systemic issue, and I've talked about that in other videos. But I'm also very aware, and I'm safety conscious, especially. Believe it or not, when it comes to the public, when it comes to individuals in relationships. And so when I see things that concern me, I call them out. How people react and how people feel about what I say, it just is, it's just one of those things. There's a dance to it. I haven't figured it out yet. So I hope this helps. Thanks so much for making this comment and allowing me to use your comment to speak to the audience. Thank you so much. I hope this helps.